Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Brian Pickle, and welcome back to another episode of Pickleton, our City Skylines 2 Let's Play Beginner's Guide sort of thing. So, as you can see on screen right now, I'm going through and just sort of adding in a lot of much needed connectivity to the city. Previous to this episode, we had basically just two connections into the city through a highway. And that was, of course, the trumpet interchange we did at the very early episode, and then also the original bridge entry that we started with, like our starting entry into the city in episode 1. Just adding in a lot of really, really important things to sort of prepare ourselves for an eventual expansion. And we're going to get into a little bit of expansion today. Um, but of course, we want to keep that connectivity going so we don't run into any traffic issues down the line. And I also wanted to make sure that our industrial area had a few connections in and out as well, closer to the highway. So I've gone ahead and taken care of that. And I'll leave the commentary there for now and let you enjoy watching me struggle to build all these intersections and interchanges. And I'll catch you shortly in the live play. Okay, so now we are all caught up. The only other thing that I did sort of in preparation that was not in that little time lapse was creating this stack interchange. I just wanted to have a nice way to link up these two freeways coming through here. So I did that, and if you are interested in a more in-depth kind of step-by-step guide on how to do one of these, there is a tutorial up on the channel, which I will leave a link to in the description below, and that one is compatible with the most recent update. That adds more pillars to elevated roads. This one that I built here is not compatible. I would never be able to recreate this, and honestly, I'm not really sure that I would want to. It's not the best, but it is functional, and that's really what matters. So, and I thought it would be kind of fun to leave it in, also as a little bit of a relic of the old times when yours truly, the mayor, did not give a flying rat's you-know-what about the structural soundness of our elevated roads and bridges. So that is that, and we are all caught up. So we're ready to kind of expand into this area today. And what we are going to do is bring in public transit. And I would like to focus the public transit on being expandable for the future instead of just kind of servicing what we already have. I want to make it really easy to add on to it later and have it continue to grow and stretch through the rest of the city, eventually coming into like down here where I hope to put a nice big skyscraper-filled downtown. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to use buses and trams. So ideally, the buses will be used sort of within each district and bringing it to the tram stops, and the trams will go between districts, so connecting one district to another and sort of that's kind of the basis of what I would like to do today. So, before we can get completely into it, I do want to draw out a little bit of some more road frames here, because I would like to, actually, you know what I can do? Even better. I just thought of something really great. So, we'll hold off. The only thing that I do want to do first is actually upgrade this road to be a 4-lane divided road. We can just take our 4-lane divided tool, use the replace tool, left click on the end of the road, and then we just drag it all the way out to where we want it to stop. I probably will have this one be a larger road in the future, so we'll see. But for now, we'll leave it with 4 lanes down here. And then we can go ahead and place the two hub buildings that we're going to need for this project to work. So as with our trains, you need a depot first for both of these methods of public transit. So our bus depot, again, kind of like maintains and stores the buses, and it can be upgraded. So we'll just go ahead and place this sort of in our industrial area. I think right here should do. And if we go ahead and take a look at the building itself, we can see that it has a couple upgrades. We can do electric buses, which I don't intend to do, or we can add an extra garage. And that does need space on it, so we do have some still, so that's good news. And so this works essentially the same as it did in Cities Skylines 1, if you are familiar with it. It sends out your buses to places. Deal with that resource thing. Anyway, we're going to ignore that for today. It sends out your buses and it maintains them. Now, it only has a certain number of buses total. And once you run out of those buses, you either need to adjust your lines and like how many buses per line you have, or you need to add one of these extensions to add more buses. And so each extension adds 10 vehicles, and I'm pretty sure you can add multiples of them as long as you have enough space around the building itself. We obviously don't need them right now, so we're not going to worry about that, but we do have the space for it when and if we need it. The next one that we want to do is our tram depot. So, silly me, I forgot. So we need to actually unlock trams, and that is in our transportation development tree. Trams cost 2 points, so we'll go ahead and unlock those, and we still have plenty left. Which does remind me, with the update, I think there was like an issue previous to the latest patch, where certain buildings were not awarding XP like they should have. So they went in and retroactively added XP. So we ended up hitting like the next milestone just as soon as I opened up this save, and before I even like hit record. So we do have high density unlocked now, as well as oil drilling, which does give us all of our specialized industry. So that is great. We can get into all of that now. But of course, we're not going to be doing that this episode. This is all about transit today. But now that we've unlocked our tram depot, we can go ahead and go into our tram little tab here and grab our tram depot. Again, same deal with the buses. It just stores and maintains them. So I think we're going to place it just about here. And because I want to see exactly where okay, so the road comes out here. I would advise that you try to keep it away from like a corner, just because it'll add like an extra intersection that you don't really want. It'll clog, it can have the potential to clog things up. So if you keep it kind of in the middle of a road instead of like, for example, if we placed it, I don't even know if I have the space, but if I placed it, no, I don't quite have the space, but if I placed it there, you can see kind of where the overlap is, that those two intersections would be right next to each other. So we don't want that. We'll leave it where it is. And then the way that you sort of, buses are simple, and we'll get to those later, actually drawing the lines out. The trams are going to be first, because once I have where the trams are going to be and where those stops are going to be, then I'll have a better idea of where I want the bus lines to be. So there's a whole method here, I promise. These are also really easy to get started with. So if you just go into your transportation overview, your transportation menu, and you click on your double tram track, all you have to do is click on the replace tool and drag it over any road that you need the tram to be on. We'll go out this way, and then we'll add it along this road as well. And what I want to do is create a little bit of a loop coming through all the way through here and around. And then I want to create a back and forth line going down this road to eventually serve the downtown over here. So I'm going to go through, you just right click, same deal, and you go down to where you want it to go and just keep dragging it along. And if it starts going in a direction that you don't want it to, you can just unclick and you'll kind of like make your waypoint essentially there and just keep on going down. And we're going to go up to about here. Because what I want to do over here is connect these two up. But I can do that with just a tram only track. And so instead of using the replace tool, I can just grab like a simple curve tool. And hopefully I can kind of join these up together, just like that. And that'll continue the tram going down this way. Then we grab our replace tool again. And the reason why I wanted the divided one is because I want the trams to go in the middle instead of on the side. So we'll drag this one all the way down, meet it up with here. And then we'll also grab from over here and drag it around this way. Back to where we started. Oh, it went off on me. There we go. We'll just do it like that and back up to here. And now we have a loop and a back and forth one. Now, I also want to go ahead and I think I'm just going to, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to upgrade this as well. And I'll get to why once we start placing our stops. So we'll take our tram stops and we'll start lining them up along the roads where we kind of want them. So I'm thinking here is probably a really good place to put them. So we'll grab two, kind of mirror the stops along the way. I think outside the school is probably another nice spot to put them. Those might be a little bit too close, but I think those are pretty high traffic areas, so we might want to do that. And then I'll go ahead and put one over here. Okay, so that completes our looping one. And then we want to have a back and forth one. So what I want to do is actually grab our one-way tram track. And I want to use our replace tool. And I want to upgrade one of these to be one-way. That didn't let me do that. Oh, okay, yes, there we go. So now we have the two roads and then we have a one-way tram track. Now, if I place a stop on this one-way, it'll allow me to go back and forth. So this line can run straight down and then straight back, and we don't have to create like a dedicated loop for it. So I'm really impressed with this feature because I feel like it was definitely something that was lacking in Cities Skylines 1. Because not all trams in the real world go in a loop. The one that I'm most familiar with in my city has plenty that go just straight to and straight back from one place. So I'm not really sure why that wasn't in Cities Skylines 1, but I'm glad they have it now. And then we'll go over here and we'll do the exact same thing. So we just upgrade this last piece to be one way. And then we place our stop. And so then we'll be able to traverse back and forth. So I want a stop to be right about here. And then I'll have another one in here. And then what we need to do is actually create our lines. So we'll start with the back and forth one because that's super simple. So we'll just start here and you just click on one of your little stops and you create new route starting here. Then we'll drag it down to the next stop. And you want to be careful that you make sure that you're on the right like little bubble because it is very fluid and it will let you add the other one on this side, even though that's the wrong way. So you need to be a little bit careful with it. If you need to, just kind of zoom in and make sure that you're where you need to be. So we'll go ahead and put that here. Grab this one next, down here, and then we just go right on back. Obviously, this stop is not the most efficient. We won't really use that there. I just wanted to show you how that's done, and we'll have it continue on into the city eventually in the future. And then we just go back through here, grab that side, and we can complete our route. So if you get to the end of where you think your route should be, and it does not say complete route, you've done something wrong. So you'll have to go back through and check and just like double check that you've gotten the right sections. So now what we can do is go into our transportation overview and we can find our actual line. And we're going to rename this and we're going to change the color. We'll just go ahead with, we'll keep it like a yellowish color, I guess. Sure. Doesn't really matter. All personal preference, but just naming them sometimes is helpful just to, like, again, kind of keep things organized so you know what's going on. And, like, you don't have to go through each line every single time you want to adjust something. You can just click the one that you need. So obviously, this is not going to be a very busy line at the moment since we don't have people yet, but we're getting there. And then we want to go back into our transportation menu and we want to do our next line. So we'll start back here. And again, we want to make sure that we're on the right side of the road. So we go here and then we'll just make a loop. So we have that route now. And then we'll just, again, like I said, we'll go the other way around now. And those are our two lines. And then again, we can go into our transportation menu and we can see them here. So we'll do them kind of in opposite colors. So we'll do like a dark green for one. And then we'll do a light green for the other. And now we have that all organized. So we're getting this little icon here, which says no vehicles. And I'm pretty sure that is for our trams. And we're using all 10 of our trams, and we definitely don't need to be doing that. So again, there's literally nobody on this whole side of the map, so we definitely don't need that many trams. So we're going to go into our transportation overview, and if you go into line details, you can adjust the number of vehicles, the ticket price, the kind of tram it is. There's only two options right now. I think the CO tram came with either, I don't know if it was a pre-order or if it was with the Ultimate Edition or whatever it is that got you the extra map. Which is the one that I'm using. But we're just going to bump that down as low as it can go. We really, especially on this one, we don't really need any at the moment, so one will be fine. And then we'll do the same thing with these ones. We'll knock them down kind of as low as they can go. 3 is good. And then that should clear up that little icon there. It might take some time for it to kind of go through the process and see that we've changed something, but there we go. So there's that. Then, since we already have the bus lines or the bus depot set up, we can at least do our bus lines for this side of the city. So to do that, it's kind of the same thing. You do your stops first, and then you do your lines. So if we go back into road, we can get our buses and our bus shelters and bus stops. So if you'll remember, I think I said it at the very, very beginning, like the very first episode ever, that I wanted to do kind of European on one side and North American on the other. So we're going to stick with that. I don't know if these have different ones. No. Yeah, they do. But I just put North American on all of them, but that's fine. But we'll keep them separate on this side. So we'll go back to our European ones. And if we go ahead and just place some of these down on the road, I can show you what they both look like. So we have an EU stop sign and an EU bus shelter. And then you can just kind of see it's pretty basic and self-explanatory, the difference between them. One is has a covered top, and one of them is just kind of on the road. Now, the thing to note about these is that they do have a comfort level. So naturally, the bus stop, the bus shelter has a comfort level of 40, so it's a lot nicer. People will be more inclined to wait at that bus stop for your buses, as opposed to the bus sign, which, nope, I want the bus sign, has a comfort level of 10. So people are not going to want to wait at the bus stop as much as they would be willing to wait at your bus shelter. Now, each group of people in your city has like a different preferences. Like maybe seniors would prefer the bus shelter a lot more than like a teenager. So it's really just up to personal preference, like what you want to place. The bus shelters are more expensive, obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, does it make a huge difference? I'm honestly not sure. So I haven't toyed around with it extensively to know how big of a difference that has on whether or not people use your buses. But we're going to do the bus shelters along our main roads, and we're kind of going to supplement our tram lines with them. So we'll do 2 buses, 2 bus shelters on either side here, just like we mirrored them for the trams. And then I want to go through and put our bus signs on our smaller roads. So I want to keep them pretty far from each other because I would like people to just pick up the buses, take them to the trams, and then take the tram around where they want to go. So we don't need, and I don't want like aggressive amount of buses because they will, of course, naturally take up more room on your streets and clog up, create a little bit of traffic. So we don't want them to make the situation worse. So I'm going to put one, I think, here. Well, we'll do two. We'll mirror them. No, it didn't let me do that. Okay. There we go. There we are. And then I think that'll be it for this area. So we'll have like, this far end and that far end. And then we can grab our line tool. So we'll start on this side. And we'll bring it in. Click here. Click. Now I kind of want it to go around like that. Not really sure about that. I want to go through here. So this is another really great thing that they added to Cities Skylines too. If you don't want your bus to go the route that it shows that it's going, you can just create a waypoint and it won't stop there or anything. It'll just be like the route that it takes. And the reason why it doesn't want to go through here is because this is a pedestrian road, but they can drive on pedestrian roads. So I'm going to force them to do so because I just really want them to go this way. And then we'll go back up here. And we will complete the route. And then we'll do we'll do the same thing in reverse. And then we'll immediately want to go through here and go into our bus lines. And we will name it. So these will be Gherkin Glen. And we can keep these down to like a minimum of buses. We'll just go, actually it was already at 2. So I think that should be fine. Make sure the other one is the same. Yeah, 2. Okay. And then I think we'll do one more to serve both these areas. And for this, for our Cornichon Hills, since it is the fancy neighborhood, we're actually going to go with some bus shelters. And then we'll switch back to our bus stops, just our bus stop signs. Again, we want to supplement our tram stops. So then we can draw our line. And then before we move on, I just want to go through and lower our vehicles. We'll go down to 2. So this one is our really long one, so I might actually keep it at 4 just in case. And then same thing with here. We'll do 4. And then that's it, right? Yeah, we already did these. These are at 2. Perfect. And so we should have plenty of buses. Let's check on our bus depot. So we're using 16 out of 25 vehicles, which is plenty. That's a good start. But so now we need to go ahead and start getting our road network set up in here. So I'm thinking we'll go a little bit smaller. And so what I want to do is go from here. I'm going to go out by 112. 120 actually, I think. So that's here. And then we'll find where that connects. And then I want to drag out by 72 meters. And that is going to be... Oh, 120. That's going to be our grid. So 72 up and 120 wide. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and grid up this entire area, and I'll catch you when that's all finished. Okay, so now that we have everything gridded out, um, sometimes, like, what I like to do personally is I like to set up my grid and then sort of try to fit in the buildings that I want where I want them and adjust the grid as necessary. Like, I can break little parts of it if I need to fit in certain assets that I want to place. So that's probably what we're going to do today here. And I want to get this place kind of serviced up with a couple different things, like some parks for one. And I also want to bring in a post office because with the latest update, the last patch that happened, they fixed the issue with post. So this should be working properly now, and we should put it in our city because it will make them happy. They don't really have an issue with that at the moment, but it can never be too a bad idea to get it started. So I think what we're going to do is, since we have a nice transit stop kind of right here, I think we'll want to make this area, these couple blocks, into some park space and put a lot of our service assets kind of in this area. So what I'm going to do is break this grid here, and I'll probably cut off that as well. And we'll kind of use this whole area. And so to start, I will put in our post office. And I think I want it up against the main road. But here's the thing. I think with this building, oh, we got another milestone. So let's check out that really, really quickly. I don't think we unlocked much. Yeah. So just high density business stuff. So, which we probably will not be getting into. We want to keep this area mostly low density, or medium density at best. Now, the thing with this asset is I think the buildings come in and out of here, which I don't necessarily want because it's really close to this intersection. So I don't know that I want it right on the road like that. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to move it onto this corner road. I don't mind it being as close to these junctions on this side. I just want to keep it off of the main one a little bit. So I think we're going to go with that. Yeah, and see, because they load right off into there. So, and we'll see if I can speed it up. We'll see where they come back out, which I assume is just going to be right through here. And I think it's okay. We'll see how that goes. I'm a little worried about this, but I think we'll be okay for now. And with the post office, it does have a couple upgrades itself as well. So we can do a mail storage extension, or we can do a post van garage. So they both take up space on the outside of the building. One adds, obviously, more storage. One adds more vans. So I'm actually thinking we don't need either of these two upgrades right now. So I think I'm just going to leave it. But then with the post office, so what you need to do after the fact, once you place the building, it's not quite finished. You need to actually go through and place the mailboxes. So this area is showing as like completely covered. I think once we zone up this area, that will not be the case. So I'm going to go through and place a couple mailboxes in just a couple different locations. So that takes care of that for us. And then we can check in on a couple of our other services as well. So I think we're good on fire. The coverage looks fine there. Fire hazard is only at 28%. That sounds low to me, so I think we're okay. Police and admin, we have only 3 criminals in jail. We have plenty of space for all this. Crime ability is 16%, so that's low. Crime success rate is 0. So I don't know why they're complaining about high crime. They should not have an issue with that at all. And we look pretty covered. I'm like remembering little tips and things as I go along, so bear with me. But what we can do with one of these buildings, or with these assets, is that we can assign them to certain districts. So we can have that one stay in that area, and we can put a new one over here and have it serve this new district that we've created, which I haven't actually drawn out the district, but I will do. So we'll go ahead and we will place a police station here. And then what we can do is if we use our district tool, We can make this one large district, I guess. So we'll go out here and then, of course, leave your suggestions for the name of this district below. And we'll get it named up in the next episode. So right now it's Cedar Square, and then we'll also do one for our industrial sector. So, and then what we can do, so if we click on our station, we can select operating districts, and we can do Cedar Square, and I guess we'll do at Archer Creek. And so this will just serve this side of the river. And then we can go ahead and do the same thing with our other one, which is here. And that will do that. So now they're kind of patrolling a smaller area, which should help with the crime situation. And since we have this tram stop again here, what I would like to do is kind of make a park area out of this. So I'm going to knock out these 2 roads, this whole area here. And I want to go into our development points, which we have a crap ton of now. And I want to go into Parks and Recreation. Damn, I'm tempted to grab all of these. But we'll do large parks and large sports parks for now. Okay, so then we're going to go into our parks. And I think a large park, we have the large city park, which I kind of like for in this area. And then the large plaza, I'm thinking, yes, perfect. Kind of right outside the tram stop. And I think we can get it lined up perfectly with that road. And that'll make a nice little spot for this area. Obviously because this road is here, we could take out this road and put the tram stop right in the middle here. I think I'd have to delete the line. We'll leave it. It's okay. It's okay that not everything is symmetrical. I'm not gonna let it bother me. But then we can make a nice, really cute kind of park space out of here, put some commercial and stuff in there. Okay, and so what I want to do next is actually make our stops for our bus stops. I said stop too many times. But we'll place our shelter here kind of, again, to supplement the tram stop. And then we will kind of loop things around from here. All right, so those are all named. And the reason, oops, we've got a fire going on over here. I think they also updated kind of how the fires look, because this looks a lot more severe than it used to. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to do the stops first is because I want to center the buildings that like the zoning around those stops. So if we go in and grab our commercial zones, for example, we'll start with these, and hopefully I can get them. I think I have to click on transportation first and then the zoning. So we want our marquee tool. And of course, I'm going to want some along this road here, but I think I might want a little bit of like medium density. So I might do the row housing, or not the mixed use. But so like around here, for example, I want to have some commercial assets, a little bit of office as well. And we're just going to have to keep going back into our transportation view to do this properly, but it's okay. So then, same thing over here. I think I'll want a nice big swath of it here. Bigger buildings. I think I want to keep this area completely free of zoning and make it like a park. So we'll do a little bit of office nearby as well. And so I'm going to keep this going pretty much all the way around the town at all of our bus stops. I think that's all of our stops in this area. Looks like we've got everything covered. So that is very good. Then what we can do is actually start housing. So I think I want to do mostly medium density over here. So I'm going to try to see how much I can get away with using our medium density row housing over here. And I'm going to try to fill up as much of this area as I can and see how well I do with that demand. And once I've got as much zoned up as it'll let me, I'll be back. Okay, so we've slowed down with the medium density. So now I will go ahead and switch over to low density. And I think I'll do a couple more parks. Oh, I forgot about our large sports parks. So I actually do want one of those. Oops, going the wrong direction here. And I think this area might make for a good spot for it. So I'm going to actually knock out some of these roads here. Okay, all of that for just one sports park. Goodness. Okay, hopefully that didn't wreck any of my lines. It looks like everything is still flowing, so goodness me. Okay. It's good. But this better be worth it. This better be the best damn soccer park the world has ever seen. So we'll go ahead and we'll place it there like I wanted to. And I like that. I think it looks really great there, so I'm happy with that. And we'll do a little bit of commercial around it as well, of course. And yeah, we'll do one here too. I think that's nice. And what I wanted to do was just like a couple little small parks kind of in this area. So we'll do one over here. The small playground, because we have like kind of this awkward space. And so I always like to throw in some parks into these. It just sort of rounds the area out a little bit better. We have our sports parks. Not a fan of the outdoor gym, so I'm not going to use that. But we can make another little complex over here with some more parks. So we'll do some basketball courts and a skate park, I think. We can fit that in there too. So why don't we see how it looks? I'm okay with it. I don't necessarily love how boxy some of the things are, but I think that stuff will get better in the future. But so I think we have some smaller lots. We have some bigger lots too, but I think that's just a matter of that they're being focused onto the wrong streets here. But we can always adjust that as needed. But I think for now, I'm okay with leaving it and seeing how it works. I don't know that I want these small houses against this main road, but I have a feeling we'll be upgrading things and kind of rezoning things in the future. So I'm going to go through and kind of fill out these side ones here and see kind of what we get. I think that is a good time to leave this for now, and I will jump into a little bit of a detailing time lapse and sort of round this area out nicely, zone up a couple more things and kind of really fill in this area and get it fully situated, and I'll be back with you soon. Okay, so that should do it from a detailing perspective. I think once these trees finally grow up, it'll look really, really nice. But I'm pretty pleased with the results, as tedious as it might have been. I think we've got a good little mix of some housing, parks, all the fun stuff. And yeah, I think it really played. I think it paid off. I think all of it looks pretty nice. I like how uniform it all looks. I feel like that's pretty American style, very gridded, very cookie cutter kind of house going on. So I'm. It looks a little odd. I'm not gonna lie, but I think that's. I think I like that it looks that way. I think it adds something new that we haven't quite done in the city just yet. So I'm pretty excited about that. Before we leave it today, I do want to check and see kind of how our usage is going with the public transit that we did today. So we've got, I've seen it fluctuate a little bit. So we got 1,100 people taking our buses and 2,700 people taking our trams. So that is perfect. So I think if we add them up together, that's roughly 4,000 people, and we have 7,000 people in the city. So we're looking at more than half. Did I do that math right? Yes. I'm not a math person, guys. Feel free to correct my math in the comments below. But yeah, I think we're looking at about half of the people taking our public transit. So I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good start. And if we take a look at our traffic, the traffic doesn't seem to be very bad either. I mean, all of this is pretty, like, none of it's glaringly bad. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I think we have ourselves a nice foundation to set up going into the eventual downtown. And I'm pretty excited to announce that I have finally gone through the city and named all of the members of our Discord community. So if you would like to be a citizen in Pickleton, make sure that you click the link down below to join the Discord community and join all of these lovely people. Chat about the game, share your cities, get tech support, inspiration ideas, all kinds of fun chit chat going on in there. We got a nice little group of people going on finally. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much to all of those early people here who joined the Discord when it was very, very small and very, very quiet. I do really, really appreciate it. So I will leave the link to the Discord down in the description below, and I hope to see you guys there. And I promise, this is the actual final thing. I know I say that all the time, one last thing, and then I keep going, but this is the last thing for today. I just want to give a special thank you to everybody who turned out for the live stream last Saturday. So it was a lot of fun. We played with City Planner Plays' custom map. We did a little bit of like a farming village. It was a whole lot of fun. We had about 20-something people in there, I think was the peak number. And it was just a really great experience for my first ever live stream. So thank you guys so much for making it something truly, truly special. I hope to do more of them in the future. So if you have ideas on how often you would like to do them, what you would like to see us do in them, feel free to leave some suggestions in the comments below, and I'll see what we can do. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this slightly longer than intended episode. I promise I am working on shortening things up, but I think we were well overdue for some expansion, and I think it went hand in hand with adding some public transit. So again, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if so, I would love it if you'd consider leaving a like below, and even subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Though, as always, only if you feel like you truly got something out of it and truly, truly enjoyed it. And with that, I'll leave you with the rest of your cinematics. Thank you again so, so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time.